Well, we're back.
Yes.
Lost track of episodes. Also,
It's
was the
well,
short birthday episode about this
yes,
month.
we have a very short birthday
Very
episode.
short birthday episode. It's not really an episode, it's a snippet.
It's a little fun celebration.
That's right. But today we have a special guest. But
We
before we
do.
get started, what do we do?
Oh,
We gotta gloss up. Did you tell Mercedes to get her
I
glasses?
did. I did.
We gotta make ourselves look like
You
camera
know,
ready.
yeah.
Camera ready.
Little shine, little sparkle.
Yep.
You
Here
know,
we go. Ready.
nice.
All
All right.
righty.
Oh, we have my good friend Mercedes on today as our guest, and she is a holistic behavioral therapist. She will tell us more of her background and give us a little insight about who she is, what she does, and all that good stuff. And then she's going to also lead us into a short little meditation at the end, which will be really great and hopefully will help all of us mentally, physically, everything. So, Merceydes, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Yeah.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. So, give us a little background. Your background, why you wanted to do what you do, how you got into it, etc.
Oh boy, that's a long story. So I'll give you the Cliffs Notes version. Um, I think when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be in the FBI. So I thought I was gonna, pursue psychology. Okay, I saw Silence of the Lambs at like 10 years old, and I said, I'm
Yeah,
gonna be Clarice Starling. So anyway,
exactly.
that didn't work out. But mind you, here I am, here I am now, still in the field of psychology. So yeah, as you said, a behavioral therapist, but what technically my degrees and certifications are this. So I'm a licensed mental health counselor in Florida, a licensed clinical counselor in California, because they call them different things in different states. But I'm a board certified behavior analyst. And what that means is, like, in the big realm of psychology, there's all these different schools of thought. Some schools of thought play nice together, some don't. But my school of thought descends from what's called radical behaviorism. And it's as scary as it sounds, but boy, is it effective. Like, if there's a problem, a behaviorist can fix it. So I have that. And then I like to incorporate the holistic side of things, trying to keep people off of meds or get them off of meds. Because I think there is a natural solution to everything.
Boy, I know a bunch of people that need your services. I'm gonna make a list, and they don't know that I know they need it, but I'm gonna tell them.
Please do. Please tell them.
Right. I think everybody needs
Hint,
some.
hint. You need
Hint,
this.
hint, hint. Me? No.
No, not you.
Well, I've seen a therapist, for different things, and I think everybody you go through different things in
Yeah,
your life where you need that extra help, and it's okay. Yes,
yeah.
you, me.
I go to, and that's what I go. I go to a center here that is all about alternative. No medication. It's all about a natural approach to like EMDR and this hydro chair and meditation and all that. So
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
the
that's
way.
and that's what makes you different too, Merceydes, is how you practice. So if I don't know if you can give us some examples of what you do,
Um,
treatment ways.
I could probably give you some examples. I'm not sure where to start, but I will tell you one thing that I like, a little thing I like to, like, brag about, I guess. In my field, there are certain diagnoses that, like, people, their eyes widen and they go, "Oh my God," like, they're considered, really severe, or things that maybe other clinicians don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole, or they're ones that people immediately say, "Well, there's no other way other than medication." And one of those is bipolar. And so I've had
Mhm.
quite a few people who were diagnosed bipolar, and the only thing they'd ever heard is, "You need to be medicated. You need to be medicated." And I think it's been three or four now that I've worked with, that we've gotten them completely off of meds. And
Wow.
you don't necessarily get rid of the disorder, but what you do is you make it manageable, you make it predictable. It's not this thing that's taking over their life anymore. It's now, it's a I don't know, it's a boat ride, and sometimes the waves are a little bit, they're a little bit more intense, but they learn how to deal with it. So I think that's a hell of a success, especially considering most of the medications used to treat bipolar disorder are like heavy duty toxic meds that people have to have their blood tested for routinely, because an accumulation of the med is essentially lethal. So it's like, here, we're going to give you a medication that can kill you, or you can work with a holistic therapist that teaches you how to ride the wave.
Right. And recognize the signs. And the
Oh,
other thing with a lot of those meds too is even though you might feel that you've gotten to that peak where you don't need it anymore, you have to back down off it slowly because it's so intense once it gets into your bloodstream. You have to like back off slowly. If you back off quickly, it can make you like really sick.
totally. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday regarding SSRIs or antidepressants. And she said, she was on them for years. And when she went to go off, she felt so, not herself, and things felt so crazy to her that her psychiatrist was like, see, this is why you need to be on them. But that's not true. It's going to, your body is naturally going to adjust to coming off a medication it's been on forever. It's going to take a while to reestablish a new baseline, a new equilibrium. Just because your body is reacting, or you're psychologically reacting to coming off a med, doesn't mean you need to stay on them. It means you need more time.
Right.
It's kind of like when people are getting off of, say, alcohol or drugs and they go through withdrawals.
Mm-hmm.
Like your body is craving that, and you think you need it, but you really don't.
Right.
And just you have to slowly wean yourself off of, any sort of drug or whatever. Kind of the same thing, you have to
Yeah,
slowly kind of
it's
back off.
similar for sure,
Right.
but I mean, people will say, oh, because you don't have like the same physiological withdrawal symptoms, people say, oh, but they're not addictive, they're not habit forming. Okay, you don't have physical withdrawal symptoms, but your mood, gets out of whack, your emotions are out of whack. So you have psychological withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Which
Yeah.
that's awful. That's horrible. And then a lot of people end up, taking things that they shouldn't be taking, like street drugs and whatnot, right? To help themselves,
Yeah.
which that's awful. If when you can see somebody like you and you can do it in a more natural way, I think that's so much more beneficial for you overall,
Totally.
with the
Totally.
toxicity you were saying that these medications, I mean, even when you see other medications, not necessarily for mental health, but the side effect list, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
the
You,
list
you
is
read, you
worse
hear it
than
on
the,
a commercial, and you're like, "Whoa, I
yes,
don't want that."
no, I
There's
don't
just
want
some
that.
that are actually quite disturbing when they say it.
so disturbing.
And you go, "That causes what?
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
I've never heard of that
Right, like
before, nor do I ever
anal
want to."
I
linkage,
was just
kidney
going to say that.
Yeah,
failure.
the anal leakage. I'm like, that sounds
But you don't
terrible.
have any more rosacea. So, my rosacea's gone, but my butthole is leaking everywhere I go. So I say that's a win-win, right?
I have to wear a diaper, but my skin looks great.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then you end up needing diaper rash cream to.
Right. Right.
Exactly. You need one
Oh, we
for
have
the next.
totally gone down the rabbit hole. Love it.
Right, exactly. Oh my God.
Mhm.
We'll reel it back in.
Oh, perfect. No, but I think that's a good point to make about like medications. One of the things, though, that B and I talked about too is, especially for women as you get older, yes, it's good to have this, but also, have a really good like endocrinologist that can help analyze your hormone imbalances because there's crazy and then there's hormone crazy. And
Yeah.
hormone crazy can't necessarily always be fixed because when you have a hormone imbalance or an insulin imbalance, those things definitely can be somewhat holistically help it adjusted, but not completely. And that's why when your body's not producing estrogen or the right amount of testosterone or all these, progesterone, whatever it is, it's really critical to be work in part with, a therapist and an actual, medical doctor that deals with blood work and hormonal imbalances because
Mhm.
that's just one of those things that I told B before I had older ladies that taught a Bible study group one year, and they said, ladies, you can't pray out hormones. The Holy Spirit cannot help you. Please go to the doctor.
Let's go to the doctor. Well, it's really funny. And I mean, I know we're a little off topic, but it's kind of related, is now they're getting a little bit better with women's hormones and everything and prescribing, hormones. But 10 years ago, they were prescribing antidepressants because women get depressed when they go through menopause. They're prescribing like all these weird different medications because you're like, I don't have this. This is going on. I'm having this. And they're like, well, take this drug, take this drug. Next thing you know, you're on all these drugs when it's just
Right.
hormones, you know? It's
No.
like, no. You don't need to take all these different drugs that again, that have all these side effects.
Right.
And you have to take
Yeah.
this for this side effect, you know?
It's not even just hormones too. There are legitimate vitamin deficiencies that can produce problems. Like, for example, this is an older study. It's actually not that old, but there's not a lot of studies that are like this that looked at like the vegan diet, for example. And there was a high correlation with vegan diet and depression because there is a certain chemical we get from milk that then converts to both melatonin and I believe serotonin, but whatever it is, you can't get it in the vegan diet. So people are, it's something as simple as that. They're like, oh, I'm a vegan, I eat healthy. Okay, but why are you so chronically depressed? Well, you're missing a vitamin. So like hormones, vitamins, all these things are super important. A lot of us are vitamin D deficient because we're not getting enough sun. And so like that has an effect on your mood. So
Oh
I
gosh,
think,
yeah.
Allison is right. You need a doctor. And I'm very weary of doctors because there's a lot of bad ones, right? But
Right.
I have a naturopathic doctor and she runs every vitamin, every hormone under the sun to make sure you're calibrated, you're where you need to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, and it's good to know these things because, like you said, you might be deficient in a vitamin or a mineral, and that's what you need to be supplementing. Or sometimes you're supplementing, wasting money on vitamins that you don't need too. So
Yes.
it's really important to get your blood work done. And we've always stressed that too. Get your blood work done. Know what's going on in your body. Because again, you don't know. And it could be a simple fix of you just need to
Right.
supplement here.
And
You know?
knowledge is power. So the more knowledge you have about what's going on within your body, the better off,
Oh,
you are.
100%.
But
100%.
now, talk about the medical side, but there is no, I think people also have had stigmas about, oh, a therapist. Oh, what's a behavioral therapist? Oh, I really don't need that. Oh, I think about 99.9% of the world at some point needs some calibration on their behavior or their emotions or how to handle whether it's trauma, sudden trauma, whether it's grief, whether it's stress,
Mhm.
depression, all of these things that you know you can talk when you can talk with somebody who can help redirect or help you understand what mentally, because that's such a still an ongoing research area that we keep learning more and more about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. And there's always something that goes on if, a lot of people have communication problems too. And, it could be with a partner, it could be at work, it could be in any kind of relationship, and how to learn how to communicate properly.
Totally.
Sometimes you don't know, and it's good to have somebody guide you
Yeah.
of, okay, this is how you can communicate what you need and vice versa, or what's going on, or redirect your thinking.
Yeah.
You might think like you go, how you go in those hamster wheels and you keep thinking the same thing over and over again. It's like, okay, let's get out of that. How do I get out of that hamster wheel and change my thoughts? Right. And then it's like, okay, now I can breathe, but sometimes you just don't know how to get off that wheel. You need somebody to assist you with that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's the
What are,
beauty of therapists.
so what
Exactly.
are some of the things you have some of your patients do, or
Like home techniques, like things that you could do at home.
Okay, so the most important factors for mental health, they're pretty simple. Sleep, exercise, and diet. Like those are, if those are not controlled, then what's the point in doing anything else? Like I'll have people who, have the most out of whack sleep schedule and they can't figure out why their moods are constantly shifting. It's like, I can give you a bunch of tools and techniques, but until you get sleep and you're sleeping the way you need to be sleeping, you're out of whack. Like if you're I always used to say this in class. I used to teach at FIU, but I used to always say, if your sleep is messed up, you're messed up. So like we just have to start there. Sleep, diet, exercise. I think people that don't exercise are doing themselves a grave disservice, because like this is actually empirically validated, research driven information, not just my hippie speak, but like exercise is the best antidepressant there is. Like it works better than an antidepressant in treating low grade depression. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I meet somebody who's suicidal and I'm like, just go for a walk, right? Like it's not, I'm not saying that, but like low grade depression, we need to be treating it with exercise, and that's a treatment, but also like as a preventative, if you're exercising daily, you are essentially warding off depression. Why don't we all do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
what's the biggest excuse? Oh, I don't have time. Oh, yes, you do. If you have time to doom scroll on your phone, you have time to go for a walk.
100%.
It's 10, 15 minutes. And I always say, just move.
Yep.
Just get out. They're even saying that like that's becoming a regular thing, these days with Health and Human Services. It's move, challenge yourself, eat healthy, healthy foods that aren't overly processed. Engage your brain as well. There's so many things that help with, mentally getting you, but you still, sometimes you need direction and support to get you through, like I said, trying times that you're not familiar with or how to deal with.
Definitely.
You need community too. Like you need a support system as well. Like there's people out there that don't have that support system. And you have to make it for yourself too.
Yes.
You have to go out there and create it. It's not just going to happen. You have to go out and create a community of people you trust. And I think that's huge too, right?
Well, yeah, I can imagine your business has grown after COVID, with once people got out and about again and realized, oh my gosh, I'm by myself and all I'm doing is watching people on social media.
Yeah, I bet. So besides those three things, say you have those things, okay, I'm doing good. I'm sleeping, I'm exercising, my nutrition's good, but I'm still need something else, something more.
I mean, so the beauty of behaviorism is that we are very specific and individualized. And so like where the other realms of psychology, they look at statistics and they'll say like, well, this tends to work for 80% of the people. I don't care. I do a lot of experimentation with just my client. Try this, try that. They come back and we tweak it so that we figure out what works for them. So if I have to be generic though, and say like things that I think are helpful for everyone, I do think community or having a sense of belonging it's imperative. Like, and, there's a lot of studies out there that say, oh, these online relationships, they're not detracting from real life relationships. Yes, they are, because I can have an online relationship. Like right now, I can't hug you. I can talk to you, but I can't hug you. And we do need physical touch. It is a necessity. Like, and so for people who maybe don't have that, they don't have family or they don't have a significant other, like we can also get that from like our animals, because there's like a theory behind that called co-regulation. Your nervous system regulates with somebody, like against or with somebody else. And so sometimes we need the presence of another individual, hopefully a calm individual, that our nervous system can then sync with and kind of feel better. So I think there's that. We do try to work with the clients. I say we, I have an intern. So we're trying to work with the clients on like, things like mindfulness, meditation practices, because that's like a buzzword. Everyone's like meditation, mindfulness, but why is it important? It's important because it's essentially mind control. If you can teach your mind how to stay quiet and focused on one thing, then you're in control of your feelings and your thoughts and all of that. And so when we have like you were talking about like the spirals or like the hamster wheel, that is a mind that is not controlled. Anxiety has control over that. So we do meditation as a way to practice gaining control so that when you are down the road in a situation where you're upset or anxious or ruminating on something that happened, we can shift into meditation, slow it all down, and get control.
It's interesting that you say that because, I'm not a fan of flying, as you guys know this. And I just did fly to go visit Allison. And at the takeoff is, always me for me. And I sat there with my chest, and my other hand on my belly, and I was doing the deep diaphragmatic breathing with my eyes closed the whole time as we were going. And my heart rate was nice and calm. It wasn't going crazy like it tends to do. I was just doing these deep breaths and just focusing where it was. Of course, I do say a little prayer too, but it, it did help that anxiety, because generally it's like my anxiety is through the roof when I fly. So
Yeah,
it was just nice and calming. I guess it's a type of mindfulness
it
or
is.
meditation, so to speak, breath work.
Yeah.
Breathing, yeah, breathing is a great regulator of the nervous system. We forget that. Like your breathing, you can amp yourself up or essentially calm yourself down depending on what you do with your breath. And so no one's ever paying attention to breathing though, since it happens on like an automatic level. We're never focused. But like if you start paying attention to your breathing, you might find that sometimes you're holding your breath because it's like, wait a minute, hold on. I need to actually breathe this one out, not hold it.
Yeah. Isn't there, there's some parasympathetic techniques you can do. There's some called like the butterfly technique. I think you do like these taps. I don't know. I've heard something about that.
Oh yeah, that's kind of in line with the same theory as like EMDR and like the bilateral stimulation. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's that. There's all sorts of things that you can do, whether you're trying to achieve like mindfulness or just trying to like slow the nervous system down. But like breathing is a huge one. Also, like what I like to do? I like to just sit in nature and just activate all five senses. Like what do I smell? What am I looking at? Like, how does this grass feel under my feet? Because if you're doing that and you're actually truly like in your five senses, then you can't be up here.
That's interesting.
Well, and there's something about grounding, right, into nature, right? Touching a tree, your feet on the grass, like you were saying. There's something about that. I don't know much about grounding, but I guess it's some sort of like you're saying it calms you.
Yeah. I don't know. The physicists would have to tell you that the electrons and blah, blah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't speak biology. I don't speak any of that. I'm just a therapist.
Well, I do restorative yoga, which is cool because it's really not an exercise. It's not an exercise. It's a relaxation technique to let your body release trauma because sometimes like I've had an outward where going through extreme trauma, I've had an outward expression of it, whether it was skin, joint pain, stiffness, like my whole body shutting, like not allowing me to move. And so doing these techniques where I take time and I set a timer for each. I do 5 poses and I set a timer for 10 minutes for each pose. But I do it like once a week. But the great thing about it is it really does, you feel the release happening and then it impacts your mind too because you're just focusing and letting your body be where it is.
Mm, that's so nice. I know we all should do that. And speaking of which,
Yes.
Mercedes is going
What
to
are we
put.
doing? What are we doing? We're doing something fun, right?
We're doing something fun. Yes, it's
Yeah.
something everyone should do. I know. Get
Okay.
comfy, right? So she's going to lead us through a meditation. So
Okay.
I think this is super important for all of us. So get in a comfy spot, right? Is that what you should
Yes.
do, right? Sit comfy.
So, and I'll preface by saying like you want to aim for a 20-minute meditation. We're just gonna do like five, just kind of like this, like a sample meditation, not a real one. So yeah, you do want to be in a comfy position, but it's actually not just comfy. You want your feet flat on the ground. So
Oh,
or yeah, if you're little, like you guys are, like we're pretty little people, right? Scoot your butt to the forward edge of your chair so that your feet are flat. Or if you were sitting cross-legged in the chair and you can do that, that's okay too.
wow.
The floor is better. The floor is better, and it's sometimes better if you put like a pillow under your butt to bump it up, and that way your knees can fall a little lower. So whatever it is, you want to be in a comfy position, but you want your spine upright. And then I don't really like a lot of light, but hey, it is what it is, right? We're gonna close our eyes and we're gonna first focus on breathing. And I'll give you a little bit of background too, because a lot of people get like discouraged with meditation. They say like, oh, this isn't working, right? Because their mind isn't still. Okay, your mind isn't going to be still. You might only have 1 to 2 seconds of stillness when you first start meditating. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. And so stay with it, keep trying. If you can get to 10 seconds with no interrupting thoughts, that is still progress. All right, so we'll start here, right? So we're sitting upright and you just kind of want to close your eyes. Or if you find that you're going to get too sleepy, you can leave your eyes barely open where just a little bit of light comes in. And I think the first thing I like to do, some people put their hands on their, like kind of open on their knees. Some people fold their hands. But for starters, let's just put your hands on your lower belly. And then we're going to take some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And that's just kind of to slow it down, but also like get comfy, feel your body as you take those breaths. Feel if there's any tension points and just keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. You want to feel your belly move a little bit when you do this. That's what tells you you're actually getting a deep breath. And so as we do this, like a thought will pop up. Don't follow it. Acknowledge it. It's there, but don't follow it. So that might sound a little bit difficult, but think of it as like a passing cloud. It's there. You're not going to engage with it. Just wait until it passes. Go back to your breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. We want to stay focused on the breathing, and that can be very hard to do. So there are some options here. One is you can count the breaths in and count the breaths out. Another one that I like to do is to visualize the breath. And so if you're visualizing the breath, start by paying really close attention to the tip of your nostril when you breathe in. It's a little bit cooler. So breathe in that breath and visualize it as it goes in through your nose, up to your throat, down the body cavity. Feel it in the chest, feel it go down to your belly, feel it go all the way down to the base of the spine. And then when you exhale it, bring it from the bottom, from the base of your spine, back up and out through the mouth. And so just keep visualizing the breath going all the way in your body and then exhaling it all the way back out. And we're just going to do this a couple more times. And another thing you can add to this is thinking about potentially something that might be weighing heavily on you. If that's a feeling, if that's an argument, if you're sad or frustrated or whatever, when you exhale, exhale those things out and away from you. Almost like visually seeing the problems leaving you, but maybe you visualize it in the form of like smoke. You're exhaling dark smoke, which is essentially your worries, your negative feelings. Exhale them and push them away from you. And then you can also breathe in what you might think of as warm light, healing light, blessings, whatever that may be. For me, I like to think of the sun. I like to think of the sun and its positive, warm energy that I'm breathing that in and exhaling any worry or concern I might have. And again, if the thoughts pop up, that's okay. Just go back to the breath. And we'll just do this another minute or so. Okay, so as you take maybe a couple more breaths and you start to kind of come back into your body, maybe feel it. Like, does it feel different? Do you feel your shoulders any different or any tension in your lower spine any differently? So that's kind of bringing the awareness back to the body. And then from there, we can kind of just open our eyes when we're ready and come back to earth.
Cool.
Ah,
Nice.
that's nice. I know. I'm like, ooh.
I know. You can see how you get sleepy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the problem too. That's why we have to make sure we're sitting upright and that we have our, otherwise it's you go to 996.
Yeah.
That might be really helpful for people who do have trouble sleeping, that if they do that in the evening and before they're going to bed, it might relax you and get your body kind of ready to go to sleep and get that I don't know if the melatonin starts going through you, where you start dozing off,
Just
That-
don't do it in your bed. You're not supposed to do anything in bed other than sleep and have sex, because if not, it's true. If not, it's a process called pairing, which I'm not going to get into. It's annoying, but the idea is that your bed becomes associated with things other than sleep. And so you go sit in your bed and your brain's kind of like, are we reading? Are we meditate? What are we doing?
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, nothing in the bed other than sleep and sex. That's it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
There you have
Okay.
it.
So
Something to
go
live
sit
by.
in a chair somewhere and do it.
Yes.
Right.
In a comfortable position.
Recline if you want, but
Or even, on the floor, and you can put your back up against the bed if that helps you sit a little bit more upright, but
yeah.
as long as you're not in it.
Okay. And not laying down, would you not do this laying down? Okay.
No, because then you are that's sleepy time. So
Okay. Okay, good to know. That's interesting because I thought, laying down and doing it that way was something, but I guess, yeah, sitting up is a whole other reason.
it depends on what are you going for, right? If
Right.
you just need to calm down, maybe you're, really upset. If you just need to calm down and you want to lay down and just do deep breathing so that you can calm yourself, fine. But like meditation, like I said before, is a training of like essentially mind control. So if we're doing training, then we need to do the training sitting up.
Got it.
Okay.
Good to know.
That was great. That was really good.
I like that.
So to finish
Learn
it
something
off,
new.
yes, always learn something new. I mean, that's what's so great about this stuff too, is that you can always learn something new.
Correct. Yes.
Constantly. Once you think you know it all, you should
No.
stop. But if you right? So, anyways, to kind of finish it off, we always like to ask like 3 to 5 things people can do for better mental health, which I know we've already kind of gone through it, but maybe to summarize.
Yes. Okay. So we said sleep, exercise, make sure those are in check. Get sun every day. People are afraid of sun. Don't be afraid of sun. Get your sun every single day. Touch, hug, connect with a person, with an animal, and then a big one, disconnect from electronics. Those things are ruining our lives in so many ways. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Agreed.
Yes, no, that's really important. Actually, Allison did, it was over Lent, right? You did a detox. She had no.
Yeah, we digital fast at our church every year for
Nice.
Lent. And so it's you so you don't so your phone is just becomes a phone. Unless like there's certain stipulations. And you obviously when you work you have to check email and be on your computer, but your phone is just literally for calling or communicating.
I
And
love that.
no social media, get off, useless websites and things like that. And so, and spend that time doing other things. Like,
Yeah.
again, for me, it's been this tactile thing of making bread, which has been so much fun.
That's
And it's
awesome.
just, and it's so therapeutic, but and I use it almost as a meditation thing because it's got set times of things you have to do. So in the meantime, so I set a timer and it just keeps me, I know that I only have this much time before I have to do the next step. So it really, and then when I'm in the step, that's all I'm doing is I'm focused on that step, which has been, it's great. It kind of gets you out of your mind.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah. There's
yeah.
sorts of things like that that you can do, or like artistic stuff too. We years ago, people were bored, they would be artistic, they would create.
Mhm.
So you're creating with bread, but also like we can paint or we can write or we can dance or whatever it may. And people that dance, what do you mean? Yeah, dance, put on some music and dance. Like,
Dance.
Yeah.
that feels
Actually,
good too.
You
that's
guys do
so
that. You and
funny.
Justin will do that.
Yeah, it's really funny because our therapist had said that before he goes to work, because of his type of work, that we dance and we would just dance and before he went to work.
That's
And
so
so it made us
sweet.
kind of like happy because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
cannot not be happy dancing,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah. So we used to do that a lot. It was and it's kind of fun. It was like, okay.
I love
And then
that.
what we always say at the very end to everybody is just give yourself grace. You're not going to get, nothing's ever going to be perfect. And you're going to have bad days, and that's what it is. And so just take moments when you are having those rough days to maybe take a few minutes to deep breathe or disconnect or, calm yourself or go get that hug or
Absolutely.
many of
Absolutely.
them.
Right.
That's
And
usually
oh,
again, the biggest thing is just give grace. And Mercedes, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yes,
thank you. Thank you for
yes.
having
Great.
me.
Yes, and real quick, Mercedes does some online therapy,
Ooh,
correct? Right? California, you do it for
Yep.
California, but she's based in Florida. So,
California and Nevada very soon. My license is coming in the mail
oh,
very
very
soon from
cool.
them. So yeah, California, Nevada, Florida. I'm a licensed counselor in those states, but I'm nationally certified as a behavior analyst. So depending on what the, problem is at hand, I might be able to see you even if you're not in one of the three states.
Cool.
okay, so we'll get that information and we'll put it in our.
Post it.
Yeah, we'll put it in there. So if anybody wants to contact her or needs more information, then they have your information. So, yay,
Okay, thank
thank
you.
you
Well,
so
thank you
much.
again for taking the time with us. I love it.
Absolutely,
It was fun.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yay!
And we'll see you next time. We're not sure what we're doing, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay,
One never
sounds
knows.
good.
Okay, see you.
Bye.
Bye.